The hallway of the Grandview Hotel smelled like expensive perfume and floor polish. Brianna walked slowly, her red heels clicking against the marble floor, pulling her small suitcase behind her. Room 847. That's what Trevor's assistant had told her when she called to confirm his booking. Brianna smiled to herself, imagining the look on her husband's face when she knocked on his door. 10 years of marriage and she still loved surprising him. She had taken the day off work, driven 3 hours to get here, and even stopped to buy his favorite chocolate cake from the bakery he loved. The box sat carefully in her overnight bag. Tonight would be special. They hadn't had a weekend away together in months, and even though this was technically his business trip, she figured they could make the most of Friday night before his Saturday morning meetings. The elevator dinged and she stepped out onto the 8th floor. Room 847 was at the end of the hall. Her heart beat faster with excitement as she got closer. She could already picture them ordering room service, watching a movie, talking and laughing like they used to before life got so busy. But as she approached the door, she heard something that made her stop cold. Sounds coming from inside the room. Sounds that made her stomach twist into knots. A woman's voice, laughing, then moaning. Brianna stood frozen in the hallway, her hand still gripping the handle of her suitcase. She told herself she was wrong. She had to be wrong. Maybe the sounds were coming from a different room. Maybe she had the wrong room number. But the sounds got louder, more distinct. And there was no mistaking the deep voice that joined in. Trevor's voice. The same voice that said he loved her every morning. The same voice that promised to honor and cherish her 10 years ago in front of all their family and friends. God, I love you, she heard him say through the door. I love you so much. Brianna felt like someone had punched her in the chest. She couldn't breathe. Her hands started shaking. The hallway seemed to tilt sideways, and she had to lean against the wall to steady herself. She should knock. She should bang on that door and demand answers. She should scream and cry and make him face what he was doing. But she couldn't move. The sounds continued. The woman giggled. Trevor said something Brianna couldn't make out, and then there was more movement, more noise that made Brianna want to throw up right there in the fancy hotel hallway. How long had this been going on? Who was this woman? Did their friends know? Did his coworkers know? Was Brianna the only stupid person who didn't know her husband was sleeping with someone else? She stood there for what felt like hours but was probably only 5 minutes. The sounds eventually quieted down. She heard the shower turn on. She heard Trevor's voice again saying something about ordering dinner. Brianna slowly backed away from the door. Her legs felt like jelly but somehow she made them work. She turned around and walked back down the hallway past the elevator to the stairwell. She needed air. She needed space. She needed to think. In the stairwell she finally let herself cry. Big, ugly, painful tears that came from somewhere deep inside her chest. She sat down on the cold concrete steps and sobbed into her hands. The woman she had been 30 minutes ago, the happy wife excited to surprise her husband, that woman was gone forever. Brianna didn't know how long she sat there crying. Eventually, she heard voices from a few floors up and knew she needed to leave. She couldn't fall apart here. Not in public. Not where anyone could see her. She made her way down the stairs and out through the side exit of the hotel. Her car was parked in the garage across the street. She threw her suitcase in the trunk, got in the driver's seat and just sat there, staring at nothing. Her phone buzzed. A text from Trevor. Hope you're having a good day, babe. Meetings are boring as always. Love you. Brianna stared at the message. Love you. He had just told another woman he loved her, and now he was texting the same words to his wife. How did he do that? How did he lie so easily? She didn't respond. She turned off her phone, started the car, and drove out of the parking garage. The drive home was a blur. Brianna barely remembered getting on the highway or taking the exit for her neighborhood. She drove on autopilot, her mind replaying the sounds from that hotel room over and over again. When she finally pulled into her driveway, she sat in the car for another 10 minutes. The house looked the same as it had this morning when she left. The same blue door. The same flower pots on the porch that she had planted last spring. The same welcome mat they had bought together at a yard sale. Everything looked normal on the outside. But nothing would ever be normal again. Brianna got out of the car, left her suitcase in the trunk and went inside. The house felt different now. Every picture on the wall, every piece of furniture they had picked out together, every memory attached to every corner of this place felt like a lie. She walked through the living room to the kitchen and poured herself a glass of water. Her hands were still shaking. She set the glass down before she could drop it. 10 years. They had been married for 10 years. Together for 12. She had given him the best years of her life. She had supported his career, moved to a new city when his job required it, put her own dreams on hold when he needed her to. And this was how he repaid her? Brianna went upstairs to their bedroom. Their bed was neatly made. She had done that this morning before she left, excited about her surprise trip. The irony made her want to laugh, but the sound that came out of her mouth was something between a laugh and a sob. She walked to Trevor's side of the bed and opened his nightstand drawer. Nothing unusual. Just his reading glasses, some loose change, a book he had been reading. She moved to his dresser, opening each drawer carefully. Clothes, socks, nothing suspicious. What was she even looking for? Proof? She had all the proof she needed. She had heard it with her own ears. Brianna caught sight of herself in the mirror above the dresser. Her makeup was smeared from crying. Her eyes were red and puffy. Her bright red dress, the one she had put on this morning because Trevor always said he loved her in red, now felt like a costume. She didn't recognize the woman staring back at her. Who was she if she wasn't Trevor's wife? That identity had been such a huge part of her for so long. Brianna and Trevor. Trevor and Brianna. The happy couple. The perfect pair. That's what everyone always said. But it had all been a lie. Brianna pulled out her phone and turned it back on. 3 more texts from Trevor. All of them casual, normal, acting like everything was fine. Acting like he hadn't just destroyed their entire marriage. She scrolled through her contacts until she found Jordan's name. Her best friend. The one person she could trust. Jordan, Brianna said when her friend answered. I need you to come over. Right now. Please. What's wrong? Jordan asked immediately. Are you okay? No, Brianna whispered. I'm not okay. Trevor is cheating on me. There was silence on the other end of the line. Then, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Brianna hung up and sat down on the edge of the bed. The bed she shared with a man she thought she knew. The bed she would never sleep in again. The sun was setting outside the window, painting the room in shades of orange and pink. It should have been beautiful. But all Brianna could think about was the sound of her husband's voice telling another woman he loved her. Jordan arrived exactly 15 minutes later, letting herself in with the spare key Brianna had given her years ago. She found Brianna still sitting on the bed, staring at nothing. Tell me everything, Jordan said, sitting down beside her friend and taking her hand. So Brianna did. She told her about the surprise trip, about standing in the hotel hallway, about the sound she heard, about Trevor's voice saying those words to someone else. With every sentence, the reality of it became more solid, more real, more painful. Jordan listened without interrupting, her face growing angrier with each detail. When Brianna finished, Jordan squeezed her hand tighter. That lying piece of trash, Jordan said. After everything you've done for him. After all these years. I feel so stupid, Brianna whispered. How did I not know? Were there signs I missed? Don't you dare blame yourself, Jordan said firmly. He's the one who chose to cheat. He's the one who lied. This is not your fault. But Brianna couldn't help wondering. She got up and started pacing the room. How long has this been going on? Who is she? Someone from his office? Someone we know? Does it matter? Jordan asked. Yes, Brianna said. It matters. I need to know. I need to understand how my entire life became a lie without me noticing. She went to the closet and pulled out a box from the top shelf. Their wedding album. She hadn't looked at it in years. She sat back down on the bed and opened it, Jordan moving closer to see. There they were. Brianna in her white dress, Trevor in his gray suit, both of them smiling like they had the whole world figured out. Her younger self looked so happy, so confident, so in love. That girl had no idea what was coming. We were so young, Brianna said softly, touching the photo. 24 years old and convinced we had found forever. Jordan pointed to a photo of them cutting the cake. Remember how he smashed cake in your face and you got so mad? Brianna did remember. She had been furious in the moment but laughed about it later. Trevor had apologized by serenading her at the reception, his terrible singing voice making everyone laugh. It had been perfect, or so she thought. She flipped through more pages. Their honeymoon in Jamaica. Their first apartment. The day they bought this house. Christmas mornings, birthday parties, vacations, ordinary Tuesday nights on the couch. A whole life documented in photographs. Had he loved her then? When did it change? When did she stop being enough? Stop it, Jordan said, reading her mind. I can see you spiraling. You are enough. You've always been enough. He's the one with the problem, not you. Brianna closed the album and set it aside. What do I do now? What do you want to do? I don't know. Brianna stood up and started pacing again. Part of me wants to pack his stuff and throw it on the lawn. Part of me wants to pretend I never went to that hotel. Part of me wants to confront him and scream until my voice gives out. All valid options, Jordan said. But maybe sleep on it? Don't make any big decisions while you're in shock. He'll be home tomorrow night, Brianna said. He thinks everything is normal. He has no idea I know. Good, Jordan said. That gives you time to think. To plan. Brianna looked at her friend. Plan what? Your next move, Jordan said. Look, you can confront him tomorrow and have a big emotional scene. Or you can be smart about this. Get your ducks in a row first. Protect yourself. Then blow up his world on your terms, not his. The idea appealed to Brianna more than she wanted to admit. She was hurt and angry, but underneath that was something else. Something cold and calculating that she didn't recognize in herself. I need to know who she is, Brianna said. I need to know how long this has been going on. I need to know everything before I decide what to do. Jordan nodded. Then we'll figure it out. You're not alone in this. I'm here for whatever you need. They spent the next few hours going through Trevor's things more carefully. Brianna checked his credit card statements online, finding charges at restaurants she had never been to, hotels she had never stayed at, jewelry stores she had never received gifts from. Look at this, Brianna said, pointing to her laptop screen. February 14th. He told me he had to work late. But here's a charge for $200 at that fancy Italian place downtown. Jordan leaned over her shoulder. Valentine's Day. He spent Valentine's Day with her while you sat home alone. Brianna felt the tears coming again but forced them back. She needed to stay focused. She needed to be smart about this. She found more charges. Hotels in the city where he supposedly had late meetings. Flowers sent to an address she didn't recognize. Dinner after dinner after dinner, all on nights when he claimed to be working. 8 months, Brianna said quietly, looking at the dates. The charges start 8 months ago. He's been lying to me for 8 months. Jordan put her arm around Brianna's shoulders. I'm so sorry. He's been coming home to me after being with her, Brianna continued, her voice flat. Kissing me. Sleeping in our bed. Acting like everything was fine. What kind of person does that? Someone who doesn't deserve you, Jordan said. Brianna saved screenshots of everything. Every charge, every date, every piece of evidence. She opened a new email account that Trevor didn't know about and forwarded everything to herself. She was building a file, though she wasn't sure yet what she would do with it. You should eat something, Jordan said around 9 o'clock. When's the last time you ate? Brianna couldn't remember. Breakfast maybe? But the thought of food made her nauseous. I'll make you some tea, Jordan said, heading downstairs to the kitchen. Alone in the bedroom, Brianna looked around at the life she had built with Trevor. The dresser they had refinished together. The curtains she had sewn. The photos on the wall of vacations and holidays and ordinary moments that had seemed important at the time. How much of it had been real? Had he loved her at all? Or had their entire marriage been a lie from the start? Her phone buzzed with another text from Trevor, about to grab dinner and then early to bed. Big presentation tomorrow morning. Miss you. Miss you. The words felt like a knife twisting in her chest. She typed out a response. Miss you too. Good luck tomorrow. It physically hurt to send it, to keep up the charade. But Jordan was right. She needed to be smart about this. She needed time to think and plan before she confronted him. Jordan came back with tea and sat on the bed beside her. You're going to get through this. I promise you will. I don't feel like I will, Brianna admitted. I feel like everything I thought I knew was a lie. Our whole marriage, our whole life together. What if none of it was real? It was real to you, Jordan said. Your love was real. Your commitment was real. His failure doesn't erase what you brought to the marriage. They sat in silence for a while, drinking tea and not talking. Sometimes that's all you could do. Just sit with the pain until it became bearable. Around midnight, Jordan convinced Brianna to try to sleep. She offered to stay, but Brianna said she needed to be alone. She needed to sit with this reality until it felt real. After Jordan left, Brianna went back downstairs and poured herself a glass of wine. Then another. Then another. The alcohol didn't make the pain go away, but it dulled the edges enough that she could breathe. She fell asleep on the couch, still in her red dress, the TV playing some late-night show she wasn't watching. When she woke up at 3 in the morning, there was a text from Trevor. Good night, babe. Love you. Brianna stared at the message for a long time. Then she got up, went to the bathroom and threw up. Not from the wine, but from the sick feeling that had been growing in her stomach since she stood outside that hotel room door. She brushed her teeth, washed her face and looked at herself in the mirror again. Her eyes were still red and swollen. She looked exhausted and broken. But underneath that she saw something else. Something harder. Something determined. Trevor had broken her heart, but he wouldn't break her spirit. She wouldn't let him. Brianna went back upstairs, changed out of her red dress and into comfortable clothes and got into bed. But she didn't lie on her side. She lay right in the middle, taking up space, refusing to leave room for the man who would come home tomorrow. Sleep didn't come easily, but when it finally did, Brianna dreamed of the hotel hallway, of that door, of those sounds. But in the dream, instead of walking away, she opened the door and looked right at them. And when she woke up in the morning, she knew what she had to do. She wasn't going to fall apart. She wasn't going to beg him to stay. She was going to be strategic and smart and make sure that when this marriage ended, she walked away with her dignity intact. Trevor thought he had gotten away with it. He thought she didn't know. He thought he could have his wife at home and his mistress on the side and nobody would get hurt. He was wrong. Saturday morning, Brianna woke up with a purpose. She had spent half the night thinking, planning, deciding. By the time the sun came up, she knew exactly what she needed to do. First, she called her sister Carmen. "I need you to come over today," Brianna said without preamble. "Trevor's coming home tonight and I need to act normal around him, but I don't think I can do it alone." "What happened?" Carmen asked, instantly alert despite the early hour. Brianna told her everything. Carmen listened in shocked silence, then let out a string of words that would have made their mother wash her mouth out with soap. "I'm coming over right now," Carmen said. "And I'm calling Patricia." Patricia was Carmen's college roommate who had become a successful divorce attorney. Brianna had met her at Carmen's wedding years ago but never imagined she would need her services. "I haven't decided if I'm getting divorced yet," Brianna said, even though she already knew the answer. There was no coming back from what she had heard in that hotel room. "Doesn't matter," Carmen said. "You need to know your options. You need to protect yourself. Patricia will help. She's good at this." Within an hour, Carmen was at the house with coffee and bagels. Brianna tried to eat but everything tasted like cardboard. She managed half a bagel just to make her sister stop looking at her with such worried eyes. "Show me what you found," Carmen said, setting up her laptop on the kitchen table. Brianna pulled up all the credit card statements, all the charges, all the evidence she had collected the night before. Carmen's face grew darker with each new piece of information. 8 months, Carmen said. "That cheating piece of garbage has been doing this for 8 months. "I need to know who she is," Brianna said. "I need to see her face. I need to understand who she is and why he chose her over me." "This isn't about you not being enough," Carmen said firmly, echoing what Jordan had said the night before. "This is about him being a selfish, lying coward who couldn't keep his promises." Patricia called around noon. Carmen put her on speakerphone. "Brianna, I'm so sorry you're going through this," Patricia said, her voice warm but professional. "Carmen told me what happened. I want you to know that I'm here to help in whatever capacity you need." "I don't even know what I need," Brianna admitted. "Everything feels overwhelming." "Let's start simple," Patricia said. "First, do you want to save this marriage?" The question hung in the air. Brianna thought about it, really thought about it. Could she forgive Trevor? Could she ever trust him again? Could she lie beside him at night without wondering where he had been and who he had been with? "No," she said quietly. "I don't think I can." "That's completely understandable," Patricia said. "So our goal is to protect you and your interests through the divorce process. I'm going to ask you some questions that might be hard to answer, but I need you to be honest with me." For the next hour, Patricia walked Brianna through her financial situation, her assets, her career, everything that would matter in a divorce. It was clinical and cold, but it helped Brianna focus on practical matters instead of her broken heart. "Do you have your own bank account?" Patricia asked. "No," Brianna said. "We have joint accounts for everything." "Open one," Patricia said immediately. "Monday morning, go to a different bank than the one you currently use. Open a checking and savings account in only your name. Start putting money aside. If Trevor empties your joint accounts, you need to have something to fall back on." Brianna wrote it down. Open bank account. It seemed like such a simple thing, but it felt monumental. It felt like the first step toward a life without Trevor. "What about the house?" Patricia asked. "It's in both our names," Brianna said. "We bought it 5 years ago. We've been paying the mortgage together. We'll deal with that in the divorce proceedings," Patricia said. "But for now, document everything. Take photos of every room, every piece of furniture, every valuable item. Make a list of what you brought into the marriage versus what you bought together. This will matter later." Brianna felt her head spinning. There was so much to think about, so much to do. Carmen reached over and squeezed her hand. One step at a time, Carmen said. You don't have to do everything today. But Brianna wanted to. She wanted to take action, to do something instead of just sitting with the pain. After she hung up with Patricia, she spent the afternoon photographing every room in the house. She made lists and took notes and documented everything. While she was doing this, she found more evidence. In Trevor's home office, she discovered a second phone hidden in his desk drawer. It was password protected, but Brianna knew Trevor. He used the same password for everything because he said it was easier to remember. She was right. The phone opened on her first try. What she found inside made her stomach turn. Text messages to someone named Natalie. Hundreds of them. Intimate messages, photos, plans to meet up, declarations of love. Brianna had to put the phone down several times because she felt like she might be sick. The messages went back 8 months, just like the credit card charges. She read through them, each one like a punch to the gut. Trevor told this woman things he used to tell Brianna. He made promises to her. He said he wished he could be with her all the time. In one message from 3 weeks ago, Natalie asked Trevor when he was going to leave his wife. Trevor's response, "Soon, baby. I promise. I just need to find the right time." He was planning to leave her. All this time, Brianna thought her marriage was solid, thought they were building a life together, and he was planning his exit strategy. Carmen found her sitting on the floor of Trevor's office, the phone in her hands, tears streaming down her face. "What did you find?" Carmen asked gently. Brianna handed her the phone. Carmen read through the messages, her face getting angrier with each one. "Her name is Natalie," Brianna said. "She works at his office. She's 28 years old. She doesn't know he's planning to surprise her tonight by finally leaving me." "Wait, what?" Carmen looked up from the phone. "Read the most recent messages," Brianna said. "From this morning. She thinks he's telling me about the affair this weekend. She thinks he's finally choosing her." Carmen scrolled to the newest messages. Sure enough, Natalie had texted this morning, "Today's the day. I'm so proud of you for finally being honest with her. Call me as soon as you tell her. I love you." Trevor hadn't responded yet. "So he's going to come home tonight and ask for a divorce," Carmen said slowly. "He thinks he's going to blindside you." "But I already know," Brianna said. "I have all the evidence. I have his secret phone. I have the credit card statements. I have everything." A plan was forming in her mind. Trevor thought he was in control. He thought he got to decide when and how their marriage ended. But Brianna had information he didn't know she had. She had power. "I'm not going to let him think he's leaving me," Brianna said, standing up. "I'm going to beat him to it." "What are you thinking?" Carmen asked. "I need to talk to Patricia again," Brianna said. "I need to move fast. Trevor gets home at 6. That gives me about 4 hours to get everything in order." She called Patricia back and explained what she had found. Patricia listened carefully, then said, "Here's what I need you to do. Take that phone to a copy shop and make copies of everything. Every text message, every photo, everything. Then put the phone back exactly where you found it. We'll need that evidence for the divorce, but we can't let him know you have it yet." Brianna and Carmen spent the next 2 hours at a copy shop, printing out hundreds of pages of text messages. The woman working there gave them sympathetic looks but didn't ask questions. They probably saw this kind of thing all the time. Back at home, Brianna put Trevor's secret phone back in his desk drawer exactly how she found it. She made sure everything looked normal, untouched. Then she started packing. Not big obvious suitcases, but small bags of important things. Her jewelry, her important documents, photo albums of her family, things that mattered to her personally. She put these bags in her car trunk, ready to go if she needed to leave quickly. At 5 o'clock her phone rang. "Trevor." "Hey babe," he said, his voice casual and normal like he wasn't about to destroy their marriage. "I'm leaving now. Should be home by 6:30, maybe 7 with traffic." "Okay," Brianna said, keeping her voice steady. "Drive safe." "Love you," he said. Brianna didn't respond. She just hung up. Carmen looked at her with concern. "Are you sure you want to do this tonight? We can wait. We can plan more." "No," Brianna said. "He's expecting to control the situation. I'm not giving him that power. When he walks through that door, I'm going to be the one in control." She looked around the house one more time. This place that had been her home, her sanctuary, now felt like a prison. She needed to leave it, leave him, leave behind the person she had been when she thought her marriage was happy. At 6:15, Brianna heard Trevor's car pull into the driveway. Carmen squeezed her hand one more time. "You've got this," Carmen said. You're stronger than you know. Brianna nodded. She stood up straight, smoothed down her green shirt, and prepared to face the man who had broken her heart. The front door opened. Trevor walked in, setting his suitcase down in the entryway. He looked tired from the drive but smiled when he saw her. Hey, he said, moving toward her for a hug. Brianna stepped back. Trevor stopped, confused. We need to talk, Brianna said. And for the first time since yesterday, since standing in that hotel hallway, Brianna felt something other than pain. She felt powerful. Trevor looked between Brianna and Carmen, his smile fading. What's going on? Why does your sister look like she wants to kill me? Because I do, Carmen said coldly. Brianna? Trevor's voice had that wounded tone he used when he wanted sympathy. What's this about? Brianna sat down on the couch, not inviting him to sit beside her. She had rehearsed this moment in her head for the past hour. She knew exactly what she wanted to say. How was your business trip? She asked, her voice calm. It was fine, Trevor said slowly. Boring meetings. You know how it is. Why? Which hotel did you stay at? Trevor blinked. The usual one downtown. The Hampton. Why are you asking me this? That's interesting, Brianna said. Because your assistant told me you were staying at the Grandview Hotel. Room 847. The color drained from Trevor's face. For a moment he looked like he might throw up. I can explain, he started. Don't, Brianna cut him off. Don't you dare insult me by lying right now. I know everything, Trevor. I know about Natalie. I know about the affair. I know it's been going on for 8 months. Trevor sank down onto the chair across from her, his face in his hands. Carmen watched him with disgust. How did you find out? He asked quietly. Does it matter? Brianna shot back. Does it matter how I found out that my husband has been cheating on me for the better part of a year? That he's been lying to my face every single day? I was going to tell you, Trevor said, looking up at her. I was planning to tell you this weekend. I know, Brianna said. I read your messages to Natalie. I know you were planning to ask for a divorce tonight. So here's what's going to happen instead. I'm staying in this house. You're going to pack a bag and leave. Tonight. Right now. Brianna, please, Trevor said, his voice breaking. Can we at least talk about this? Can we try to work through it? Work through what? Brianna asked. Work through the fact that you've been sleeping with someone else for 8 months? Work through the hundreds of lies you've told me? Work through the Valentine's Day you spent with her while I sat home alone? Tell me, Trevor, what exactly should we work through? Trevor had tears in his eyes now. Brianna might have felt sorry for him once. Now she just felt numb. I made a mistake, he said. A huge mistake. But I love you, Brianna. I've always loved you. You don't cheat on people you love, Carmen said from across the room. You don't lie to people you love. You don't make plans to leave them while pretending everything is fine. I wasn't thinking clearly, Trevor tried again. It just happened. One night after work we were talking and then one thing led to another and suddenly I was in too deep to get out. Nothing just happens, Brianna said. You made choices. Every single time you met up with her, every time you lied to me about working late, every time you came home and kissed me after being with her, those were choices. You chose her over me, over our marriage, over the life we built together. That's not true, Trevor said desperately. I never wanted to hurt you. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. Well, now you don't have to be confused anymore, Brianna said. Because I'm making the choice for you. I want a divorce. The words hung in the air between them. Saying them out loud made it real in a way it hadn't been before. Don't do this, Trevor begged. Please, Brianna. Give me another chance. I'll end things with Natalie. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this. We can go to counseling. We can work on our marriage. There's nothing left to work on, Brianna said. You destroyed it. You took 10 years of love and trust and threw it away. And for what? A 28-year-old from your office. It's not about her, Trevor said. It's about us. We've grown apart. We stopped connecting. I felt lonely. Brianna laughed, but there was no humor in it. You felt lonely? I've been right here the whole time. I've been your wife, your partner, your support system. If you were lonely, you should have talked to me. You should have told me something was wrong. You don't fix loneliness by sleeping with someone else. You're right, Trevor said, standing up and moving toward her. You're absolutely right. I handled this in the worst way possible. But we can fix this. Please don't throw away 10 years because of my mistake. Stop calling it a mistake, Brianna said, her voice rising. A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill or leaving the stove on. This was a choice. Multiple choices. Hundreds of choices, every single day for 8 months. You chose to betray me. You chose to lie. You chose to destroy our marriage. Carmen moved closer to Brianna, a silent show of support. Trevor looked between them, seeming to realize for the first time that he wasn't going to talk his way out of this. So that's it, he said. 10 years together and you're just done? You're not even going to try? I tried, Brianna said quietly. I tried every single day of our marriage. I loved you completely and faithfully. I supported your career, your dreams, your goals. I tried, Trevor. You're the one who stopped trying. You're the one who gave up on us. I want to fight for this, Trevor said. I want to fight for us. You should have thought of that before you slept with someone else, Carmen interjected. You don't get to cheat and then decide you want to fight for your marriage. That's not how it works. Trevor ignored Carmen and focused on Brianna. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to fix this. I'll do anything. Leave, Brianna said. That's what you can do. Pack a bag and leave this house tonight. This is my house too, Trevor said, a hint of anger creeping into his voice. Actually, Carmen said, pulling out her phone, my friend Patricia, who happens to be an excellent divorce attorney, says that since Brianna discovered the affair, she has every right to ask you to leave. You can either go voluntarily, or we can make this very public and very ugly. Trevor looked shocked. You already talked to a divorce attorney? What did you think I was going to do? Brianna asked. Just sit here and wait for you to decide what happens next? I found out yesterday, Trevor. I've had 24 hours to process this and plan my next moves. You don't get to be surprised that I'm prepared. Yesterday? Trevor looked confused. How did you find out yesterday? Brianna almost told him about going to the hotel, about standing in the hallway hearing him with Natalie. But she decided he didn't deserve to know. Let him wonder. Let him guess. Let him feel uncertain for once. It doesn't matter, she said. What matters is that I know, and now we're getting divorced. So I'm going to say this one more time. Pack your things and leave. Trevor looked at her for a long moment, and Brianna could see him trying to figure out how to manipulate the situation. She had seen that look before, usually when he wanted something from her. But this time it wouldn't work. Fine, he finally said, his voice hard. I'll pack a bag. But this house is half mine, and I'm not giving it up without a fight. That's what lawyers are for, Carmen said cheerfully. Patricia is looking forward to representing Brianna. She has a 95% success rate, by the way. Trevor shot Carmen an angry look but didn't respond. He turned and headed upstairs to pack. Brianna listened to him moving around in their bedroom, opening drawers, the closet door creaking. She felt like she should cry, but the tears wouldn't come. She just felt tired and empty and ready for this to be over. You did good, Carmen said softly. That couldn't have been easy. It was easier than I thought it would be, Brianna admitted. Maybe because I'm too numb to feel anything right now. 20 minutes later, Trevor came back downstairs with a large duffel bag. He stood in the doorway looking at Brianna, waiting for something. Maybe for her to change her mind, to tell him to stay, to give him another chance. But Brianna didn't say anything. She just looked at him, this man she had loved for 12 years, and felt nothing. I'm staying at a hotel tonight, Trevor said. But we're not done talking about this. We need to discuss the house, the finances, everything. My attorney will be in touch with you, Brianna said. All communication goes through her from now on. You're really doing this, Trevor said, and he sounded surprised, like he couldn't believe she would actually leave him. You did this, Brianna corrected. You made these choices. You destroyed this marriage. I'm just accepting reality. Trevor opened his mouth like he wanted to say more, but then closed it again. He picked up his bag and walked to the door. Before leaving, he turned back one more time. I do love you, Brianna. I know you don't believe me, but I do. Then you have a funny way of showing it, she said. And with that, Trevor walked out the door. Out of her house. Out of her life. The door closed behind him with a soft click that sounded so final. Brianna and Carmen sat in silence for a moment, listening to Trevor's car start and pull out of the driveway. When the sound of the engine faded away, Brianna finally let herself breathe. He's gone, she said. He's gone, Carmen confirmed. And then, finally, Brianna cried. But these tears felt different from the ones she had shed last night. These tears felt like relief. Sunday morning came too quickly. Brianna barely slept, lying awake in bed replaying the confrontation with Trevor over and over. Carmen had stayed the night, sleeping in the guest room, close by in case Brianna needed her. At 7 in the morning, Brianna's phone started ringing. Trevor. She declined the call. He immediately called again. Declined. A text message came through. Please answer. We need to talk. Brianna turned off her phone. Carmen came downstairs around 8 and found Brianna at the kitchen table with her laptop, making lists. What are you doing? Carmen asked, pouring herself coffee. Figuring out my next steps, Brianna said. I can't just sit around and wait for Trevor to make moves. I need to be proactive. She had spent the early morning hours researching divorce law, calculating finances, and trying to understand what the next few months would look like. It was overwhelming, but it helped to have something to focus on besides the pain. Patricia called while you were asleep, Carmen said. She wants to meet with you tomorrow morning. 9 o'clock at her office. I have to work tomorrow, Brianna said, then realized how ridiculous that sounded. Her marriage was falling apart, but she was worried about missing work. I guess I can call in sick. You should take some time off, Carmen suggested. A few days at least. You can't process all of this and pretend everything is normal at work. Brianna nodded. Carmen was right. She couldn't sit in her cubicle and answer emails like her whole life wasn't crumbling around her. They spent Sunday organizing documents, printing bank statements, making copies of everything Patricia would need. Brianna felt like she was preparing for battle, gathering weapons and armor to protect herself in the war ahead. Around noon, Jordan called. Brianna had texted her last night after Trevor left, giving her a brief update. How are you holding up? Jordan asked. I'm okay, Brianna said, though she wasn't sure if that was true. Carmen is here. We're getting all my documents together for the lawyer. I'm proud of you, Jordan said. I know this is hard, but you're handling it like a champion. Most people would have fallen apart. I'll probably fall apart later, Brianna admitted. Right now I'm just running on anger and adrenaline. Once that wears off, I'll be a mess. Then I'll be there to pick up the pieces, Jordan said. That's what friends are for. After she hung up, Brianna went back to her lists. She had pages of notes now, questions for Patricia, concerns about the divorce, worries about finances. Her neat handwriting covered sheet after sheet of paper. You need to eat something, Carmen said, appearing with a sandwich. You barely touched breakfast. Brianna took the sandwich but just stared at it. Food still didn't appeal to her. Everything tasted bland, like her taste buds had shut down along with her heart. Her phone buzzed with another text from Trevor. She had turned it back on an hour ago and he had been messaging constantly. This one said, I talked to Natalie. I ended things with her. Can we please talk about working this out? Brianna showed the text to Carmen, who rolled her eyes. He really thinks that's going to fix things, Carmen said. Like ending the affair erases the past 8 months. Should I respond? Brianna asked. No, Carmen said firmly. Patricia said all communication should go through her. Let Trevor sweat it out. Let him wonder what you're thinking. You're in control now, not him. That afternoon, Brianna's mother called. Carmen must have told her what happened. Brianna's mother, a strong woman who had been happily married for 40 years, was furious. That boy, she said, her voice tight with anger. After everything you've done for him. After you supported him through grad school, moved for his job, put your career on hold. This is how he repays you. Mom, Brianna said, feeling tears prick at her eyes. She had been holding it together pretty well until now, but her mother's voice made her feel like a little girl again, safe and protected. You come stay with me, her mother said. Leave that house. Come home where people actually love and respect you. I can't, Brianna said. Patricia says I shouldn't leave the house or it might hurt me in the divorce. He's the one who cheated, so he's the one who had to leave. Good, her mother said. You stand your ground. Don't let him push you around. And Brianna, you're going to be okay. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but you're going to come out of this stronger. After talking to her mother, Brianna felt a little bit better. She had people who loved her, people who would stand by her side. She wasn't alone in this. Monday morning came with a gray sky and light rain. Brianna dressed carefully in a blue pantsuit, professional and put together even though she felt like a wreck inside. Carmen drove her to Patricia's office downtown. The law firm was on the 15th floor of a glass building. Patricia met them in the lobby, and Brianna was struck by how confident she looked. Tall, well-dressed, with an air of competence that immediately put Brianna at ease. Thank you for seeing me on such short notice, Brianna said as Patricia led them to a conference room. Of course, Patricia said. Carmen's family, which makes you family. And I hate cheating spouses. So let's take this guy down. Over the next 2 hours, Patricia went through everything. She reviewed the credit card statements, the text messages from the secret phone, the timeline of the affair. She asked Brianna detailed questions about their finances, their assets, their life together. You have a strong case, Patricia said finally. The evidence of infidelity is clear. The financial records show he was using marital funds to support the affair. You'll likely get a favorable settlement. What does that mean exactly? Brianna asked. It means you'll probably keep the house or get enough money from selling it to buy your own place, Patricia explained. You'll get half of all marital assets, which includes his retirement account, savings, investments. And depending on the income disparity, you might get alimony. I make my own money, Brianna said. I don't want his money. I just want out. I understand that sentiment, Patricia said. But this isn't about revenge or being petty. This is about protecting yourself financially. You sacrificed for this marriage. You supported his career. You're entitled to compensation for that. Patricia pulled out another document. Now, I need to ask you about something else. You mentioned Trevor has a business partnership with someone named Robert. Tell me about that. Robert and Trevor started a consulting firm about 3 years ago, Brianna explained. They're equal partners. The business is doing well as far as I know. Do you have access to any business documents? Patricia asked. Financial statements, tax returns, anything like that? Maybe, Brianna said. Trevor keeps a lot of work stuff in his home office. Why? Patricia leaned forward. Because if the business is marital property, which it likely is since it was started during your marriage, then you're entitled to a portion of its value. But more than that, I want to make sure Trevor hasn't been hiding money. Cheating spouses often move funds around, hiding assets to keep them out of the divorce settlement. You think he's been stealing money? Carmen asked. I think it's worth investigating, Patricia said. Brianna, when you go home, I want you to photograph every document in Trevor's office. Every bank statement, every business record, every piece of paper with numbers on it. We need to see the full financial picture. That night, alone in the house, Brianna did exactly that. She went through Trevor's office methodically, photographing everything. His desk drawers, his filing cabinet, his computer files. She felt like a spy, sneaking around her own home, but Patricia was right. She needed to protect herself. What she found surprised her. Mixed in with the business documents were records of transfers from the business account to Trevor's personal account. Large transfers. $30,000 here, $20,000 there. Money that should have stayed in the business. Brianna took photos of everything and emailed them to Patricia. An hour later, her phone rang. Brianna, Patricia said, and her voice had an edge to it. I think Trevor has been embezzling from his own company. What? These transfers you photographed, Patricia explained. They're not authorized distributions. They're not salary. They're just Trevor taking money out of the business account without proper documentation. If Robert doesn't know about this, which I suspect he doesn't, then Trevor has been stealing from his business partner. Brianna sat down heavily on the couch. Why would he do that? My guess? To fund his affair, Patricia said. Hotels aren't cheap. Neither are expensive dinners and jewelry for his mistress. He probably couldn't explain those charges on your joint credit card, so he took money from the business instead. What does this mean? Brianna asked. It means we have even more ammunition, Patricia said. And it means Robert might be very interested in what we've found. Does Trevor know you have these documents? No, Brianna said. He hasn't been back to the house. He's been staying at a hotel and blowing up my phone, but I haven't responded. Good, Patricia said. Keep it that way. I'm going to reach out to Robert's attorney and see if they want to have a conversation. This could work very much in your favor. After hanging up, Brianna sat in the quiet house and tried to process everything. Trevor hadn't just betrayed her. He had been stealing from his business partner, lying to everyone, building a web of deceit that was finally unraveling. She should have felt vindicated, but mostly she just felt sad. Sad for the years she had wasted. Sad for the man she thought Trevor was but clearly never existed. Sad for the life she had imagined that would never happen now. Her phone buzzed. Another text from Trevor. Please talk to me. I miss you. I miss us. Don't throw away what we have. Brianna finally responded. Contact my attorney. Her name is Patricia Morrison. All communication goes through her now. 3 dots appeared immediately, showing Trevor was typing. Then they disappeared. Then appeared again. Finally, a message came through. You really hired an attorney? You're serious about this? Brianna didn't respond. She turned off her phone and went to bed, hoping for sleep that didn't come. Tuesday morning, Brianna woke up to missed calls and text messages from numbers she didn't recognize. She listened to the voicemails. The first was from Trevor's mother. pleading with her to give Trevor another chance. The second was from Trevor's business partner, Robert, asking if they could meet. She called Robert back first. "Brianna," Robert said, relief evident in his voice. "Thank you for calling me back. I got a call from your attorney yesterday afternoon. She shared some concerning information with me. About the money Trevor took from the business," Brianna said. "Yes," Robert said, and she could hear the anger beneath his measured tone. "I had no idea. I trusted Trevor completely. We've been partners for 3 years and apparently he's been stealing from me the entire time." "I'm sorry," Brianna said. "I just found the documents on Sunday. I had no idea either." "I've been going through our business accounts all night," Robert continued, "with my accountant. Trevor has taken close to $200,000 over the past 3 years. $200,000, Brianna. Money that should have gone back into the business, into our salaries, into growth. He just took it." Brianna felt sick. $200,000. She had no idea the amount would be so high. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I'm firing him," Robert said flatly. "Effective immediately. I'm also filing a police report for embezzlement and starting civil proceedings to recover the money. Your attorney mentioned that much of it probably went to funding his affair." "That's what we suspect," Brianna confirmed. "I'm sorry you're going through this," Robert said. "Trevor talked about you all the time. He always said how lucky he was to have you. Turns out he's just a good liar." After hanging up with Robert, Brianna called Patricia to update her. "Perfect," Patricia said. "This is exactly what we needed. Robert firing Trevor means Trevor's income drops significantly. That works in your favor for alimony and asset division. And the criminal charges will make him more likely to agree to a favorable settlement. He'll want to keep you from testifying against him." "Would I have to testify?" Brianna asked. "Possibly," Patricia said. "But let's cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, I need you to do something that might be difficult. I want you to go to Trevor's workplace and serve him with divorce papers in front of his colleagues." Brianna's heart started racing. "In public? In front of everyone?" "I know it sounds harsh," Patricia said, "but it accomplishes several things. It shows you're serious. It humiliates him the way he humiliated you. And most importantly, it prevents him from controlling the narrative. If you serve him privately, he can spin the story however he wants. But if you do it publicly, everyone will know the truth." Brianna thought about it. Part of her cringed at the idea of making such a private matter public. But another part of her, the part that was still angry and hurt, liked the idea of Trevor facing consequences for his actions. "Okay," she said finally. "Let's do it." Patricia had the divorce papers drawn up by Wednesday afternoon. On Thursday morning, Brianna drove to Trevor's office building downtown. She wore a green dress that made her feel confident and powerful. Carmen came with her for moral support. The offices of Anderson Consulting took up the entire 10th floor. Brianna and Carmen rode the elevator up in silence. Brianna's hands were shaking, but she kept her face calm. The receptionist looked up when they walked in. "Can I help you?" "I'm here to see Trevor Coleman," Brianna said. "Do you have an appointment?" "I'm his wife," Brianna said. "He'll want to see me." The receptionist looked uncomfortable but picked up her phone. "Mr. Coleman, your wife is here to see you." Brianna could hear Trevor's surprised voice through the phone, but couldn't make out the words. The receptionist nodded and hung up. "He'll be right out," she said. They waited in the lobby. Several people walked by, giving Brianna curious looks. She recognized a few of them from company parties Trevor had dragged her to over the years. Then Trevor appeared looking nervous. He had dark circles under his eyes and his shirt was wrinkled. He clearly hadn't been sleeping well. "Brianna," he said, his voice low. "What are you doing here?" "I came to give you something," Brianna said. She pulled the envelope of divorce papers from her purse and handed it to him. Trevor took the envelope, his face going pale as he saw what it was. "You're serving me?" "You're at my work. You made our private life public when you started sleeping with your coworker," Brianna said, her voice carrying across the lobby. Several people stopped to watch. "So yes, I'm serving you here. At your work. In front of everyone. Can we please talk about this in private?" Trevor asked, looking around at their growing audience. "There's nothing private about our marriage anymore," Brianna said. "You made sure of that. The papers have all the details of your affair, the money you stole from the business to fund it, everything. Patricia Morrison is my attorney. All communication goes through her." At that moment, Robert emerged from his office. He looked at Trevor with disgust. "Trevor, we need to talk," Robert said. "In my office." Now, Robert, I can explain, Trevor started. You stole from me, Robert said, his voice hard. You stole from our company. You risked everything we built together so you could impress some woman half your age. There's nothing to explain. You're fired. Clean out your desk and be gone by end of day. The lobby had gone completely silent. Everyone was watching the scene unfold. Brianna saw Natalie standing near the back, her eyes wide, clearly realizing that her affair with Trevor had just destroyed his entire life. Brianna, please, Trevor said, turning back to her. Don't do this. We can work this out. No, we can't, Brianna said. You destroyed our marriage. You destroyed your career. You destroyed everything. And I'm done cleaning up your messes. Sign the papers, Trevor. It's over. She turned and walked toward the elevator, Carmen right behind her. She could feel everyone's eyes on her, could hear the whispers starting, but she held her head high. In the elevator, Carmen squeezed her hand. You were incredible up there. I feel like I'm going to throw up, Brianna admitted. That's the adrenaline, Carmen said. But you did it. You faced him. You didn't back down. When they got to the parking garage, Brianna leaned against her car and took several deep breaths. Her hands were still shaking, but she felt lighter somehow, like she had been carrying a heavy weight and finally put it down. Her phone rang. Patricia. I just got off the phone with Robert's attorney, Patricia said. He wants to coordinate with us on the criminal case against Trevor. He's very motivated to make sure Trevor faces full consequences. Good, Brianna said. Also, Trevor's attorney just called me, Patricia continued. He wants to negotiate a settlement. I think the public humiliation shook Trevor up. He doesn't want this to drag out. What kind of settlement? Brianna asked. We're just starting discussions, Patricia said. But I'll push for the house, half of all assets, and alimony for at least 3 years. Trevor's going to have a hard time finding another job after this, so his ability to pay might be limited. But we'll get what we can. Over the next week, negotiations happened through the attorneys. Trevor tried calling Brianna directly several times, but she never answered. She had said everything she needed to say at his office. Patricia was a brilliant negotiator. She used the evidence of the affair, the embezzlement, and the public scandal to push for everything Brianna deserved. Trevor's attorney tried to argue that Brianna was being vindictive, but Patricia shut that down quickly. Your client cheated, stole, and destroyed his own life, Patricia told Trevor's attorney during one conference call that Brianna listened in on. My client is simply asking for what she's entitled to under the law. If Mr. Coleman finds that unfair, he should have thought about consequences before he started an affair. By the following Wednesday, they had a settlement offer. Brianna would get the house, half of all marital assets including Trevor's retirement account, and 3 years of alimony. Trevor would also be responsible for paying her attorney fees. Take it, Patricia advised. It's a good deal. You could probably push for more, but this gets you out fast and sets you up well financially. Brianna agreed. She signed the settlement papers that afternoon, officially ending her marriage to Trevor Coleman. The divorce settlement was finalized within 2 weeks. Trevor signed everything without contestation, probably because Robert's criminal complaint was moving forward and Trevor needed to focus his energy on staying out of jail. Brianna spent the first few days after the settlement in a strange state of numbness. She had her house, her money, her freedom. But she also had an empty bedroom and photo albums full of memories that now felt tainted. Jordan came over the Saturday after everything was finalized. She brought pizza and wine, and they sat on Brianna's couch watching bad reality TV. How are you really doing? Jordan asked during a commercial break. I don't know, Brianna admitted. I thought I'd feel relieved. And I do, kind of. But I also feel sad and angry and confused. Is that normal? Completely normal, Jordan said. You're grieving. Not just the marriage but the future you thought you'd have. That takes time to process. I keep thinking about all the signs I must have missed, Brianna said. All the times he was probably lying and I just believed him. I feel so stupid. Stop that, Jordan said firmly. You trusted your husband. That doesn't make you stupid. That makes you a good person. He's the one who broke that trust. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, eating pizza and watching people on TV make terrible decisions about their love lives. It felt normal and safe, and Brianna was grateful for that. On Monday, Brianna went back to work for the first time since the divorce. She had taken 2 weeks off, using personal days and sick leave. Her boss and coworkers knew about the divorce by now. News traveled fast in their office. Brianna, her boss Mr. Harrison said, calling her into his office that first afternoon back. I wanted to check in with you. How are you holding up? I'm managing, Brianna said. It's been a rough few weeks, but I'm ready to get back to work. I'm glad to hear that, Mr. Harrison said. And I wanted to let you know about an opportunity. We're expanding the marketing department, and I think you'd be perfect for the senior manager position. It comes with a significant raise and more responsibility. Are you interested? Brianna was surprised. She had been at the company for 7 years but had never pushed for promotions, always putting Trevor's career first. Yes, she said. I'm very interested. Great, Mr. Harrison said. The position isn't official yet, but I'll put your name forward. You've always done excellent work, Brianna. It's time that was recognized. Walking back to her desk, Brianna felt something she hadn't felt in weeks. Oh, maybe this was her chance to focus on herself, on her career, on building the life she wanted instead of the life Trevor had dictated. That evening, Carmen called with news. Trevor's apartment flooded. What? Brianna couldn't help but laugh. Are you serious? Jordan's cousin works in the building where Trevor is staying, Carmen explained. Apparently a pipe burst in the unit above his and destroyed everything. All his clothes, his furniture, everything. The building's putting him up in a hotel while they fix it, but he lost most of his stuff. Karma is real, Brianna said. That's not even the best part, Carmen continued. Guess who else Trevor lost? Natalie dumped him last week. Jordan heard it from someone at Trevor's old office. Apparently when Natalie realized Trevor was broke and unemployed, she suddenly wasn't so interested anymore. Brianna should have felt vindicated, but mostly she just felt tired. Trevor's life was falling apart, but that didn't fix what he had done to her. I'm not going to lie and say I feel bad for him, Brianna said. But I also don't want to spend my energy thinking about his problems. I just want to move forward with my life. That's healthy, Carmen said. And speaking of moving forward, have you thought about redecorating? Making this place feel more like yours and less like the home you shared with Trevor? Brianna looked around her living room. Carmen was right. Every piece of furniture, every decoration, every color choice had been made with Trevor's input or approval. Maybe it was time to make the space her own. That weekend she started small. She went to a home goods store and bought new throw pillows in bright blue and red. She found a beautiful painting of an African landscape that reminded her of stories her grandmother used to tell. She rearranged the furniture, moving things away from where Trevor had insisted they should be. It felt good to make changes, to claim the space as her own. She started making a list of bigger projects. Paint the bedroom. Replace the couch. Maybe get a new dining room table. Jordan came over to help with the redecorating. They spent the afternoon painting the bedroom wall a soothing shade of green. This color is perfect, Jordan said, stepping back to admire their work. It's like bringing nature inside. Trevor hated green, Brianna said. He said it was too bold. But I love it. Then that's all that matters, Jordan said. While they were painting, Brianna's phone rang. An unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Is this Brianna Coleman? A woman's voice asked. This is Brianna, she said, not correcting the last name. She was in the process of legally changing back to her maiden name, but the paperwork wasn't done yet. My name is Christine, the woman said. I work at Sterling Tech downtown. Your resume came across my desk last week and I'd love to schedule an interview. Brianna was confused. I didn't send you my resume. Mr. Harrison from your current company forwarded it to me, Christine explained. He said you were looking for new opportunities and thought you'd be a good fit for our senior marketing director position. Would you be interested in learning more? Brianna looked at Jordan, who was clearly trying to listen in. Yes, Brianna said. I'd be very interested. They scheduled an interview for the following Tuesday. After hanging up, Brianna couldn't stop smiling. What was that about? Jordan asked. A job interview, Brianna said. For a position I didn't even apply for. Mr. Harrison recommended me. That's incredible, Jordan said. See? Good things are happening. You're moving forward. The interview at Sterling Tech went better than Brianna could have hoped. Christine and the team were impressed by her experience and ideas. They offered her the position on the spot, with a salary that was 30% higher than what she was currently making. Brianna accepted. She gave notice at her old job, and Mr. Harrison was happy for her even though he was losing a good employee. You deserve this, he told her. Go show them what you can do. Meanwhile, Trevor's situation continued to deteriorate. Robert's criminal complaint moved forward, and the district attorney filed formal embezzlement charges. Trevor had to get a public defender because he couldn't afford a real lawyer. Brianna heard updates through Carmen, who heard them from Jordan, who heard them from various people around town. She tried not to pay attention, but it was hard not to notice that Trevor's entire life had imploded. She ran into him once at the grocery store 3 weeks after the divorce was finalized. He looked terrible. His clothes were wrinkled, he had lost weight, and he had the hollow look of someone who wasn't sleeping. "Brianna," he said, stopping his cart in the middle of the aisle. "Can we talk?" "There's nothing to talk about," Brianna said, trying to move past him. "Please," Trevor said. "Just 5 minutes. I need to apologize." Against her better judgment, Brianna stopped. "Fine. 5 minutes." They moved to a quieter corner of the store, away from other shoppers. "I'm sorry," Trevor said. "For everything. For the affair, for the lies, for hurting you. You deserved so much better than what I gave you." "You're right," Brianna said. "I did." "I know it doesn't change anything," Trevor continued. "But I want you to know that losing you made me realize what I had. You were the best thing in my life and I threw it away for something meaningless." "Why are you telling me this?" Brianna asked. "Because I need you to know that it wasn't your fault," Trevor said. "You were a perfect wife. I was the problem. My choices, my failures. Not yours." Brianna looked at this man she had spent 12 years loving. She tried to feel something, anything. But there was just emptiness where her feelings for him used to be. "Thank you for saying that," she said. "But Trevor, we're done. Whatever you're feeling now, whatever regrets you have, they don't change what happened. You made your choices and now we both have to live with the consequences." "I know," Trevor said. "I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry. And that I hope someday you can forgive me." "Maybe someday," Brianna said. "But not today. Today I'm too busy building a new life without you in it." She walked away, leaving Trevor standing alone in the grocery store aisle. And for the first time since the hotel hallway, Brianna felt completely free. 3 months after the divorce, Brianna's life looked completely different. She had started her new job at Sterling Tech and was thriving. Her ideas for marketing campaigns were being implemented, her team respected her, and she felt more confident at work than she had in years. The house was slowly being transformed too. She had painted 3 rooms, bought new furniture, and gotten rid of anything that reminded her too much of Trevor. The space felt lighter now, more hers. One Saturday in late spring, Jordan convinced her to sign up for a painting class at the community center. "You used to love art in college," Jordan reminded her. "Remember how you talked about minoring in it but decided it wasn't practical?" "Trevor thought it was a waste of time," Brianna said, then stopped herself. I thought it was a waste of time." "No," Jordan said. "Trevor thought it was a waste of time and you listened to him. But Trevor isn't here anymore. So what do you think?" Brianna thought about it. She had loved painting in college. She had been good at it too. But when she met Trevor, he had encouraged her to focus on more practical pursuits. Marketing instead of art. Stability instead of creativity. "Let's sign up," Brianna said. The painting class met every Saturday afternoon. The instructor, an older woman named Ruth, was patient and encouraging. Brianna started with simple landscapes, then moved to more complex pieces. She found that painting gave her a way to process her emotions that words never could. Her first real painting was of a woman walking away from a burning building, her back to the flames, her face toward a bright horizon. It wasn't subtle, but it felt honest. "This is powerful," Ruth said, studying the painting. "You have real talent, Brianna. Have you ever thought about showing your work?" "Oh no," Brianna said. "I'm just doing this for fun." "Talent like this shouldn't be hidden," Ruth said. "Think about it." Brianna did think about it. A lot. But she pushed the idea aside, convinced she wasn't good enough, that her work wasn't professional enough. Those were Trevor's voices in her head, she realized. Telling her she wasn't good enough, that she should play it safe, that she shouldn't reach too high. She needed to stop listening to those voices. At work, Brianna was killing it. She launched a new marketing campaign that increased customer engagement by 40%. Christine, her boss, was thrilled. "I have to admit," Christine said during their monthly review, "when Harrison recommended you, I was skeptical. But you've exceeded every expectation. Have you thought about what you want long-term? Where you see yourself in 5 years?" Brianna had been so focused on surviving day to day that she hadn't thought much about the future. "I love marketing," Brianna said. "But I've also been enjoying painting classes. I don't know if that's silly or not." "It's not silly at all," Christine said. "Some of our best creative work comes from people with diverse interests. Have you ever thought about combining them? Using your artistic eye to enhance your marketing work?" Brianna hadn't, but the idea intrigued her. Maybe she didn't have to choose between practical and creative. Maybe she could be both. That night, she went home and painted until 2 in the morning. She created a series of abstract pieces inspired by corporate branding, playing with logos and color theory in unexpected ways. It felt exciting and new and completely her own. Jordan came over Sunday morning and found Brianna surrounded by canvases, paint smudges on her green shirt, looking exhausted but happy. "You've been busy," Jordan said, looking at the paintings. "I couldn't stop," Brianna admitted. "I had this idea and I just had to get it out." "These are incredible," Jordan said, examining each piece. "Seriously, Brianna. You need to show these to people." "I don't know," Brianna said. "What if they're not good enough?" "Stop that," Jordan said. "That's Trevor talking, not you. Your work is amazing. Trust me on this." The next week, Ruth announced that the community center was hosting an art show in 2 months. Local artists could submit pieces for consideration. Brianna's hands shook as she filled out the application form. She submitted 3 paintings. The woman walking away from the fire, a portrait of a woman breaking free from chains, and an abstract piece of a bird taking flight. 2 weeks later, she got an email. All 3 pieces had been accepted into the show. Brianna called Carmen immediately. "They picked my paintings. All 3 of them." "Of course they did," Carmen said. "Because you're talented. I'm so proud of you, sis." The art show was scheduled for the first Saturday in June. Brianna invited Jordan, Carmen, her mother, and several people from work. She was nervous but excited. The night of the show, Brianna wore a red dress that made her feel bold and powerful. She walked into the community center gallery space and saw her paintings hanging on the wall alongside works by other local artists. Her paintings looked good. Professional. Real. Like they belonged there. "There's the artist," Ruth said, coming over with a glass of wine for Brianna. "How does it feel to see your work displayed?" "Terrifying," Brianna admitted, "but also amazing." People started arriving. Brianna's family and friends came first, gushing over her paintings and asking a million questions. Then strangers started looking at her work, reading the little cards beside each piece that explained the inspiration. A woman in her 50s stopped in front of the painting of the woman walking away from fire. "This speaks to me," the woman said. "I just finalized my divorce last month after 20 years. This is exactly how it feels." "Thank you," Brianna said. "I'm glad it resonates." "Did you paint this from experience?" the woman asked. "Yes," Brianna said. "I got divorced 3 months ago after my husband's affair. This was the first thing I painted after everything fell apart." "It's powerful," the woman said. "Would you ever consider selling it?" Brianna hadn't thought about selling her work. "I don't know. I've never sold a painting before." "Think about it," the woman said. "I'd love to have this in my home. A reminder that I'm moving forward, not back." By the end of the night, 2 people had expressed interest in buying Brianna's paintings. She exchanged contact information with both of them, still somewhat dazed by the whole experience. "I can't believe people want to buy my work," she told Jordan on the drive home. "Why can't you believe it?" Jordan asked. "Your paintings are good. They tell stories. They make people feel things. That's what art is supposed to do." That week, Brianna sold her first painting. The woman from the gallery paid $300 for the piece about walking away from fire. Brianna carefully wrapped it and delivered it to the woman's home. "Thank you," the woman said, hanging it in her living room. "This is perfect. Every time I look at it, I'll remember that I'm strong enough to start over." Driving home, Brianna felt something shift inside her. For months, she had been defining herself by what had been done to her. The betrayed wife. The woman who had been cheated on. The person rebuilding after devastation. But maybe she could be something else too. An artist. A successful marketing director. A woman who had survived and come out stronger. She wasn't the same Brianna who had stood in that hotel hallway 4 months ago. That woman was gone. But the woman she was becoming was better, stronger, more herself than she had ever been. Life settled into a comfortable rhythm over the next 2 months. Brianna threw herself into work and art with equal passion. She painted in the evenings and on weekends, creating pieces that reflected her journey from devastation to healing. She sold 3 more paintings and was approached by a small gallery downtown about doing a solo show. The idea thrilled and terrified her in equal measure, but she agreed. The show was scheduled for late September. At work, she was promoted again. Christine created a new position, creative director of marketing, specifically for Brianna. It came with another salary increase and more creative freedom. She was making more money than she ever had, even more than Trevor had made at his consulting firm. The irony wasn't lost on her. She had spent years supporting Trevor's career, moving when he needed to move, taking jobs that worked with his schedule. Now, freed from that constraint, her own career was soaring. She had also started traveling. Small trips at first. A weekend in New York to visit museums. A week in New Mexico to take a painting workshop. She was building a life that was entirely her own, making choices based solely on what she wanted. Then one Tuesday in August, Trevor showed up at her workplace. Brianna's new office at Sterling Tech was on the 3rd floor with a window view of downtown. She was reviewing campaign materials when her assistant knocked on the door. "Brianna, there's someone here to see you," Sarah said, looking uncomfortable. "He says his name is Trevor and that he's your ex-husband. I told him he needs an appointment, but he's insisting it's important." Brianna's stomach dropped. She hadn't seen or spoken to Trevor since the grocery store encounter 3 months ago. Through Patricia, she knew that Trevor's criminal case was moving forward and that he was probably looking at jail time for the embezzlement. "Tell him I'm busy," Brianna said. "I did," Sarah said. "But he's refusing to leave. He says he'll wait all day if he has to. Security is asking if they should escort him out." Brianna thought about it. She could have him thrown out. She had every right to. But part of her wanted to hear what he had to say. Not because she wanted him back or was interested in his excuses. She just wanted to look him in the eye one more time and show him that she had moved on. "Send him in," Brianna said. "But give me 5 minutes first." Sarah nodded and closed the door. Brianna took those 5 minutes to compose herself. She checked her appearance in the small mirror on her wall, making sure she looked professional and put together. She wore a blue dress today, and her hair was styled in a way she had never worn when she was married. She looked successful and confident. When Trevor walked into her office, she almost didn't recognize him. He had lost more weight, his suit was ill-fitting and he looked exhausted. The confident, put-together man she had married was gone, replaced by someone who looked defeated. "Thank you for seeing me," Trevor said, standing awkwardly in the doorway. "You have 10 minutes, Brianna said, not inviting him to sit. "I have a meeting after that." Trevor closed the door and moved closer, but Brianna held up her hand. "You can say whatever you need to say from there," she said. Trevor nodded, accepting the boundary. "I wanted to tell you in person that I'm going to jail. The sentencing hearing is next week. My lawyer says I'll probably get 2 years for the embezzlement." "I know," Brianna said. "Patricia keeps me updated." "Right," Trevor said. "Of course she does." He ran his hand through his hair, a nervous gesture Brianna recognized from years of marriage. "I deserve this. All of it. Losing you, losing my job, going to jail. I destroyed my own life." "Why are you here, Trevor?" Brianna asked. "If you came looking for sympathy or forgiveness, I don't have either to give you." "No," Trevor said quickly. "That's not why I'm here. I just wanted to see you one more time before I go away. I wanted to tell you that you were right. About everything. I threw away the best thing in my life for something meaningless. And I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I needed to say it." "You already apologized," Brianna reminded him. "At the grocery store. I don't need to hear it again." "I know," Trevor said. "But I also wanted to see that you're okay. And you clearly are. You look amazing, Brianna. Successful and happy. This office your new job. You're thriving." "I am," Brianna said simply. "Because I'm not with you anymore." The words were harsh but honest. Trevor flinched but nodded. "I understand that," he said. "I held you back. I was so focused on my own career, my own needs, that I never supported yours. You deserved better." "I did," Brianna agreed. "And now I'm giving myself better. Career I love. Art that fulfills me. A life I'm proud of. All without you." Trevor looked around her office, taking in the modern furniture, the large window, the painting on the wall that Brianna had created herself. "Is that your work?" he asked, pointing to the painting. It was one of her abstract pieces, bold and colorful and completely unlike anything he would have appreciated. "Yes," Brianna said. "I've been painting. I'm actually having a solo show at the Riverside Gallery next month." "That's incredible," Trevor said, and he sounded genuinely impressed. "You always had talent. I should have encouraged it more." "You should have encouraged a lot of things more," Brianna said. "But you didn't. You told me painting was impractical. You told me to focus on stable career paths. You made me small because it made you feel big." "You're right," Trevor said. "I did all of that. And I can't take it back. But I can tell you that seeing you now, seeing how much you've accomplished in just a few months without me, it makes me realize what a fool I was." "Is that it?" Brianna asked. Is that everything you came to say? Almost, Trevor said. I also wanted to tell you that I'm not going to fight the divorce settlement. I know my lawyer suggested contesting some of the terms, but I told him no. You deserve everything you got. The house, the money, all of it. I already have it, Brianna pointed out. The divorce is finalized. There's nothing left to contest. I know, Trevor said. I just wanted you to know that I'm not going to cause any more problems for you. When I get out of jail, I'll stay out of your life completely. You won't hear from me again. Brianna looked at him, this man she had loved for 12 years. She tried to remember what it felt like to love him, to trust him, to build a life with him. But those feelings were gone, replaced by indifference. I hope you use your time in jail to figure out who you want to be, Brianna said. Because the person you've been, the person who lies and cheats and steals, that person has nothing. No wife, no career, no respect. You did that to yourself. Nobody else. I know, Trevor said quietly. Your 10 minutes are up, Brianna said. Sarah will show you out. She picked up her phone and called her assistant. Sarah appeared a moment later, looking relieved to see Brianna was okay. Sarah, please escort Mr. Coleman out of the building, Brianna said. And make a note in the system that he's not to be allowed back in without my explicit permission. Of course, Sarah said. Trevor looked at Brianna one more time. Goodbye, Brianna. I really am sorry. Goodbye, Trevor, Brianna said. I hope you find a way to be better. After he left, Brianna sat at her desk for a few minutes, processing the encounter. She expected to feel something, anger or sadness or satisfaction. But mostly she just felt relieved. That chapter of her life was truly closed now. She looked at the painting on her wall, the one she had created in a burst of inspiration one night when she couldn't sleep. It was full of bold colors and movement, representing the journey from darkness to light. That's what she had done. She had taken the worst thing that ever happened to her and transformed it into something beautiful. Not just her art, but her whole life. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jordan. Lunch today? Want to hear about your upcoming gallery show? Brianna smiled and typed back, absolutely. Meet you at noon. She had a gallery show to plan, a career to build, and a future that was entirely her own. Trevor was just a footnote now, a chapter in her story that had ended. The day of Brianna's solo art show arrived in late September on a perfect Saturday afternoon. The Riverside Gallery had given her the entire main floor for her exhibition, titled Phoenix Rising, A Journey Through Fire. Brianna arrived early to make sure everything was perfect. 25 paintings lined the walls, each one telling part of her story. The earliest pieces were dark and painful, showing her heartbreak and devastation. As you moved through the gallery, the paintings grew brighter, more hopeful, showing her transformation and healing. Jordan and Carmen helped her do final checks, making sure every painting was properly lit and labeled. This one is my favorite, Jordan said, standing in front of a large canvas near the end of the collection. It showed a woman standing on a mountain top, arms raised to the sky, the world spread out below her. You can feel the freedom in it. That's how I felt when I painted it, Brianna said. Like I had finally climbed out of the valley and could see clearly for the first time. You should be so proud of yourself, Carmen said, hugging her sister. Look at everything you've accomplished in 6 months. A new career, a gallery show, a completely rebuilt life. You're amazing. Brianna looked around the gallery, still somewhat amazed that this was real. 6 months ago, she had been standing in a hotel hallway, her heart breaking into a million pieces. Now she was here about to show her work to the world. The gallery doors opened at 6. Within minutes, people started arriving. Brianna's mother came, dressed in her favorite maroon suit, with tears in her eyes as she looked at her daughter's paintings. Baby, she said, pulling Brianna into a hug. These are beautiful. I'm so proud of you. Friends came. Co-workers came. Christine arrived with several other executives from Sterling Tech, all praising Brianna's work and asking about combining her artistic vision with upcoming marketing campaigns. Ruth from the painting class came with several other artists, all admiring how much Brianna's work had grown in just a few months. You've found your voice, Ruth said. That's the hardest part for any artist, and you've done it. Strangers came too, people who had seen the announcement in the local arts magazine or on social media. They walked through the gallery, studying each painting, reading the brief descriptions Brianna had written about her journey. A journalist from the city newspaper asked to interview her for the arts section. Tell me about the inspiration for this collection, the journalist said, notepad in hand. Brianna thought about how to answer. She could tell the whole story about Trevor, about the affair, about everything that had happened. but she decided that Trevor didn't deserve that much space in her narrative anymore. This collection is about transformation, Brianna said. About taking your darkest moments and using them as fuel to create something beautiful. It's about finding yourself after losing everything you thought defined you. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. The journalist scribbled notes, clearly pleased with the answer. By 8 o'clock, the gallery was packed with people. Brianna moved through the crowd, accepting congratulations, answering questions about her work, and soaking in the reality of what she had created. Then she saw someone unexpected. Robert, Trevor's former business partner, standing in front of one of the earlier paintings. The one of a woman breaking free from chains. Brianna approached him carefully. "Robert, I didn't expect to see you here." "I saw the announcement in the paper," Robert said. "I hope it's okay that I came. I wanted to see your work." "Of course it's okay," Brianna said. Robert looked at her seriously. "I owe you an apology. I was Trevor's partner for 3 years and I never saw what he was doing. The stealing the line. I feel like I should have known, should have caught it earlier." "You couldn't have known," Brianna said. "Trevor was good at hiding things. He hid an entire affair from me for 8 months and I lived with him. You saw him a few hours a week. Don't blame yourself." "Still," Robert said, "I'm sorry for what you went through. And I'm glad to see you're thriving now. These paintings are really something special." "Thank you," Brianna said. "That means a lot." Robert gestured to the painting of the woman breaking chains. "I'd like to buy this one. For my office. A reminder that sometimes you have to break free from partnerships that aren't working." Brianna smiled. "It's yours." As the evening went on, several more people put red dots beside paintings, indicating they wanted to purchase them. By the time the gallery closed at 10, Brianna had sold 15 of her 25 pieces. The gallery owner, a sophisticated woman named Eleanor, was thrilled. "This is exceptional for a first show," Eleanor said. "Most emerging artists sell maybe 2 or 3 pieces. You've sold over half your collection. People connect with your work, Brianna. They see themselves in your journey." After everyone left and the gallery was quiet, Brianna, Jordan, and Carmen sat on the floor in front of the paintings, sharing a bottle of champagne. "Can you believe this?" Brianna asked. 6 months ago I was a mess. And now look. "You did this," Jordan said. "You took the worst thing that ever happened to you and turned it into something beautiful. That takes real strength." "I couldn't have done it without you too," Brianna said. "You held me together when I was falling apart." "That's what family does," Carmen said. "And speaking of family, Mom wants to throw you a celebration dinner next weekend. She's inviting everyone and cooking your favorites. You can't say no." "I wouldn't dream of saying no to Mom's cooking," Brianna laughed. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, looking at the paintings illuminated by the gallery lights. "Do you ever think about Trevor?" Jordan asked. "Wonder how he's doing in jail?" "Sometimes," Brianna admitted. "Not in a longing way or anything. More like remembering a character from a movie I watched once. He feels distant now, like he was part of someone else's life." "That's healthy," Carmen said. "You've moved on." "I have," Brianna said. "Completely. And you know what the crazy thing is? I'm happier now than I ever was when I was married. I thought Trevor was my whole world, but it turns out I was just making myself small to fit into his world. Now I have my own world and it's so much bigger and brighter than I ever imagined." The next morning, Brianna woke up in her green bedroom to sunshine streaming through the windows. She made herself coffee and sat on her back porch, looking at the garden she had planted over the summer. Tomatoes and peppers and herbs, all thriving under her care. Her phone buzzed with messages. Congratulations from friends who had come to the gallery. A message from Christine asking if Brianna wanted to collaborate on an art-based marketing campaign for a major client. An email from Eleanor saying that 3 more paintings had sold overnight from people who saw the online gallery. Brianna responded to each message, then opened her laptop. She had started writing about her experience, putting together a blog about divorce, healing, and rediscovering yourself. It had gained a small following and several women had reached out to thank her for sharing her story. One message from this morning stood out. "I just found out my husband is cheating. I'm devastated and don't know what to do. Reading your blog gave me hope that I can survive this. Thank you for being so honest about your journey." Brianna typed out a response. "You will survive this. It doesn't feel like it right now, but I promise you will. Take time to grieve, but don't let this define you. You're so much more than what happened to you. Focus on building the life you want, not the life you thought you had. You've got this." After sending the message, Brianna sat back and thought about how far she had come. 6 months ago she couldn't have written those words. She couldn't have believed them herself. But now, sitting in her peaceful home, successful career thriving, art making an impact on others, she knew every word was true. She wasn't the same woman who stood in that hotel hallway. That woman had been shattered into a million pieces. But from those pieces, Brianna had built something new. Something stronger. Something completely and authentically hers. Her phone rang. Eleanor from the gallery. "Brianna, I have wonderful news," Eleanor said, excitement clear in her voice. "A curator from the Contemporary Arts Museum saw your show last night. They want to feature your work in their annual Emerging Artists exhibition. It's a huge opportunity. Are you interested?" "Yes," Brianna said without hesitation. "Absolutely yes." After hanging up, Brianna went to her studio, the spare bedroom she had converted into a painting space. She looked at the canvas she had started last night after getting home from the gallery. It was still mostly blank, just a few preliminary sketches. She picked up her brush and began to paint. Not a woman in pain or breaking free or walking away from fire. This time, she painted a woman dancing in a field of flowers, joy evident in every brushstroke. Because that's where Brianna was now. Not just surviving but thriving. Not just healing but happy. Not just moving forward but flying. The story of her marriage to Trevor and his betrayal was just one chapter in her life. It wasn't the defining chapter anymore. She had written new chapters since then, filled with growth and art and success and joy. And she was still writing, still creating, still becoming more herself every day. Outside, birds sang in the trees. Inside, music played from her speakers. Brianna painted for hours, lost in the creative flow, feeling more alive and present than she ever had. This was her life now. Not perfect but honest. Not without challenges but full of possibility. Not defined by what was done to her, but by what she chose to create from the ashes. Brianna had risen from the fire, and she was beautiful.